Surprise, motherfucker.
All right, we're back. Hey, everybody. For those just watching who just clicked on this video, it's the same stream as a Phantasy Star Online stream where I grinded a little bit towards level 200, got to like level 98 or so. But for the second half of that same stream, we're doing Phantasy Star Universe. So, you know, here we are. We're going to pick up where we left off last time. So everybody get ready for the big Super Smash Bros. Ultimate intro. The anime intro. Music and everything. Alright, I'll stop. I had to, I get into it, man.
It is not too late. It's our home, so don't say that it's fake. We must not give up to build our future
On our dreams.
We will never lie down and die, but
We'll find a way to survive.
we all have
I hope so.
somebody we love. We know that's why we're here. We battle for freedom. It is a battle against the dark. I have my dreams. You know I'm not afraid of bleeding. It is the time. We battle for tomorrow. It is a battle against time. And we can do miracles. So take my hand. We need to save this
See if the video remembers where we left off. It does not. This is actually pretty far back. Yeah, because we were already in the middle of the ruins. For some reason the video saved our spot here. Luckily I remember visually where we were, because it was right after a certain cutscene in the ruins. I think I call it ruins out of habit from, you know, Phantasy Star Online or whatever. But this was the... Is the stable volume setting? Yes. Hell yeah. RNG Jesus was kind. We got the stable volume setting.
Bitch.
Which now means I have to kind of adjust my volume a little bit, but that's not a problem. There we go. I prefer this because then when we hear the dialogue, it's not like super fucking quiet, you know? Anyway, so we weren't here. We were a little further in. There was a cutscene that happened where we got attacked. Yeah, I think it's right here. Come on, just a little further. And I'll allow the cutscene to replay as well, just because I know it's, Dr. Dorson tells something
What
important
kind of a
to
place is this? Wow. Look at these statues.
They're Stateria.
Stateria?
I don't know all the details, but these were guardians of the relic sites.
Come on. Are you saying that these things could actually move around and fight?
Exactly. Why do you assume that ancient civilizations used primitive technology?
I don't know. 'Cause they're old?
If you study the relics, you'll learn that the ancients were far more advanced than we are. The only problem is, after all this time, we still don't have any idea how such an advanced civilization was destroyed.
Doctor!
Surprise, motherfucker.
Ethan, look out!
You bastard! Son of a bitch!
Sounds so much nicer when we have the option for the stable volume, you know? I don't know why it doesn't always offer that. Like, I don't know why other times we've come in and it's just not there as a setting. It's the same video every time. I don't know why it's like random like that. I've also seen other YouTube videos where I do this and it's there, but it's faded out and you can't even use it. So, like, I don't know. Also, the video quality is shit. Let me... That's probably too much. This should be fine for my stream. Yeah, I was like, dude, the quality is garbage right now. I chalked it up to PS2 graphics, then realized it was on 480p and was like, okay. You alright, Dorson? Karen says, are you alright, doctor? Dorson says, don't worry about this. It's nothing. Let's move on. Well, he's tough at least. Perhaps we'll find what I've been looking for ahead. Karen says nothing. Karen's professionalism and slightly cold demeanor reminds me a lot of Squall. Because of the fact that they're all pretty much the same age as the Final Fantasy VIII crew of characters, you know? I think that's why. I kind of make my mind makes that connection a little bit. Also, I forgot to start an actual timer so I don't accidentally go too long. There we go. I think my mind makes that connection since, you know, the whole elite mercenary force from FF8, the Seed, combined with the Guardians Corporation or whatever, or the Guardians Corps, I think is, yeah, the Guardians Corps from this game. I see like some parallels, and then the fact that the characters are the same ages, so it's like, Ethan is Zell, and Hugo is Irving. Or Irvine, I don't know how you... I always said Irvin as a kid, but I don't know if that's right because of the way it's spelled. Hugo's Irvin because he's hitting on all the chicks all the time. Ethan's Zell because he's an idiot. But he's strong, so... yeah. And then Karen is basically Squall because, you know, cold and professional. Cold but professional. The only major difference, she doesn't have repressed emotional issues like Squall. Stemming from abandonment issues, you know. But on the surface, at least, they're similar to each other. Yeah, once you look deeper, of course, the characters are very different. But on surface level, that's pretty much the roles that they fit. Ethan says, hey, do you get the feeling that something's a little different here? It's a giant arena and there's a fuck ton of Stateria that could come to life at any moment. Yes. I smell a boss fight of some kind. Hugo says, really? I don't see anything strange. I knew I forgot something. This doesn't matter for you guys watching on YouTube. But I did forget to change the category on my stream. Let me change that real quick. I was getting everything set up during the break between Phantasy Star Online and this, and was like doing a checklist in my mind. I was like, I got everything, right? That was this. And then I knew there was at least one thing that I was gonna forget. Okay, that's all I had to do. Done. Stream info updated successfully. Let's hope it's not lying. Because I've seen plenty of streamers who do that, what I just did, and then people come in and they're like, your category is still something else. Like, sometimes it doesn't actually update. It's like a well-known issue on Twitch, and for some reason they just have never bothered to fix it. And then you have to end up changing the category again. Anyway, Karen says, no, there's certainly something. It's almost like there's some other presence. Dr. Dorson says nothing. He fell. Ethan says, Oh shit!
Surprise, motherfucker.
I called it, didn't I? We literally saw this in the intro too, so the intro kind of spoils a bit of the story, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't believe it. It's moving.
Ah! The one line he had to say before it just starts a boss fight. Trial start. Oh shit, he's dancing. So just because I'm a giant statue doesn't mean I'm gonna move slow. Hugo says, this guy is tough. I mean, what did you expect? Karen says, if you get behind him, he can't block. Hugo says, spread out and attack. But Hugo's last line might have just been, generic. Nothing to do with the actual fight. Nothing unique to the fight, I should say. Oh, he's got a tornado spin. Phantasy? That's its name. Level 20. Burning hit level 10. Nice. Rising strike level 16. He's leveling it up. Dr. Dorson says this enemy appears strong. No shit, dude.
Dude, bullshit.
He used that heal in the nick of time. I think that was a star atomizer. Healed the whole party. Wait! Did you guys hear that? That was the drag. That is literally a copy paste of the sound effect that the dragon does in Phantasy Star Online. How could I not know? I just killed him a million times before coming to, you know, watch this on YouTube. I killed the dragon a million times, is what I'm saying, on Phantasy Star Online. That is literally a copy paste sound effect. When he charges up the tornado spin, it's the same exact sound effect that the dragon does when it first shows up on screen and just breathes a little bit of fire during its intro and does this. Like that. Makes that exact sound.
Please try a little harder next time.
Hey, I got a rank B, bitch. That's good enough. You bastard! Please try a little harder next time. Well, how about you, Hugo? You could have pulled your weight a little more during that fight. Oh, shit. Sorry. Everybody was doing anime grunts. I figured.
He's pulling.
What is that?
I don't believe it. How is this possible? How is this possible?
God. Translation instead of localization, folks.
Doctor.
There's a difference.
What's the matter?
I've made a terrible mistake.
What are you talking about?
Here, take a look at this.
What is this?
It's an photon
Convenient
reactor.
that the camera can just stay that low.
Yes. It draws photons from the air and transforms it into A photon energy.
Aren't A photons supposed to be this great new energy source? How'd that get here?
Guess it's not new.
It was here all along, but there's a bigger problem. This proves the relics were powered by A photon energy.
No. Really?
It's all around us
Doctor.
right now.
Earlier, you said you were an archaeologist. But how is it that you recognize this device?
Because it is my job, my real job.
He's not being
I'm
honest.
sorry for hiding this from you earlier. But believe me, it was necessary. My real name is Warren Darren, an A-photon scientist. 20 years ago, a sphere, identical to this one, was brought before me. That's when I succeeded in producing the first A-photon. I was so convinced that this new energy was the way of the future. But look at this device. A-photons aren't the way of the future, but of the past. It had already been discovered centuries ago. Do you understand what this means?
That it's a potentially
The
dangerous...
ancient civilization that first developed A-photons perished. And now, I have damned our own civilization to the same fate.
It's potentially dangerous in civilization destroying energy source, yeah. That's what he's getting at. Oh fuck, they're all getting up.
Ethan, get the doctor out of here. You and I will try to hold these things off.
Got it.
No heroic noble sacrifices, alright? Alize will hate you if you do that. I think you pretty much just have to run, because there's no fucking way you can fight all these big ass dudes along with these little dudes by yourself and with Dr. Dorson. Like, you just gotta run. Like, you saw how hard it was just to take one down with a full party, so... Unless you're seriously over-leveled, you're kind of fucked. Also, I forgot to comment before the story keeps moving forward. Well, it's hard to see it on the thumbnail preview because you can't move it that slowly. But I like how when he was on his, like, he conveniently just stayed on his knees as he kept looking at the A-photon energy, and then they made Karen step forward, so it was just like a full... It was just like a full shot of her thighs the whole time. Like, that was definitely blatant fan service that they put right there. Like, I saw what they were doing. That's why I said that halfway through that cutscene. I was like, convenient that the camera can just stay that low, because the excuse for the camera staying there is that the thing he's holding is at that height because he's still on his fucking knees. So I was like, I see what they're doing. They do that kind of shit all the time. Like, in anime and video games that are like very anime, they do that kind of shit all the time. They used to be, I feel like they're more, well, some animes and video games try to be a little bit more subtle nowadays. But back then it was so fucking obvious what they were doing. The way they were trying to manipulate where your vision would go, what would be at the sort of center or near center focus of the camera. I mean, you see it in TV shows and movie too. It's not just an anime thing too. We used to have a show called, like, in the States, we literally had a show called Baywatch, and it was all fan service. It's basically what that fucking show was. And that was in the 80s and 90s, I believe. It's not just anime that does it. Fan service has been around in across many different cultures.
Good. It feels stable enough.
Good.
Shall we go, Doc? Hey.
Why just this one area of this whole place just has a little bridge like this? Throw the ball over to him first. Don't try to jump with it. You're gonna drop it. Or you're gonna fall and die yourself.
Well, looks like I have no choice.
This is a very bad idea. Literally just throw it to Ethan. Then you can balance with your
You
arms.
got it, Doc. Keep going.
Ethan, what the hell are you gonna do if he doesn't?
Doc!
See?
The reactor!
Forget the reactor!
Could have just gave it to Ethan. Yeah, so it's like this is literally just a fucking blatant plot device. Like, just conveniently placed there just to make sure he would lose the reactor. Like, the ancients knew. They saw thousands of years ahead, and they're like, make sure to put this there instead of a proper walkway bridge to make sure the player can't go back, and so that goofy cutscene will happen in true anime style. Like, this happens in cheesy movies too. It's not just an anime thing. And then he'll lose the reactor. Ethan says, there's nothing we can do, Doctor. We gotta go. Thorsten says, what was his name again? His real name? Warren Darren? They didn't change his name in the UI. He's actually an A-photon researcher, not an archaeologist. The A-photons are still in the air. We made it out though.
Surprise, motherfucker.
It's the cops.
I've been looking for you, Dr. Darren.
Holy shit, that voice.
Nagashi!
Now, shall we return home?
I'll never go back with you. I refuse to be your slave anymore. I'm going to reveal the evil truth and expose you. You're finished.
I will not ask again. We are returning home now, Doctor.
What is he, Batman?
Back off! The Doctor's under the Guardian's protection.
How well would you pitiful Guardians fare against us? Goodbye, Doctor.
Doctor,
The hell?
Doctor, what's wrong? Doctor! You! What did you do?
There are nanomachines running through his
Oh,
veins.
they literally pulled a Metal Gear Solid 2. They're killing him with a heart attack with nanomachines, just like what's his name in Metal Gear Solid 2, the fucking president or whatever. Yeah, you know these motherfuckers played that game before this came out. I'm pretty sure this came out quite a few years later, like, well, at least 2 or 3 years after Metal Gear Solid 2. This is definitely a late PS2 game. It's a late era PS2 game, so I'm pretty sure it did. I merely activated their self-destruct sequence.
There are nanomachines running through his veins. I merely activated their self-destruct sequence.
Son of a... Listen to me. You must stop them. Otherwise, they will destroy the world. Doctor!
I timed that kind of well with that.
Ethan,
The Doctor. He's been murdered.
Doctor,
Yeah, he's gone.
Now, if you will be so kind as to hand over his body.
The awkward translation.
I am Karinera, a guardian. The Doctor was under our protection. Who are you and what are you doing here?
I am
His eyes are up there, Karen.
Of the Endrum Collective. The rest, I'm afraid, is classified.
What are Endrum agents doing here, out of jurisdiction?
Oh, I see. She's looking up like this.
Questions. The Doctor's already paid for his folly. If you value your life, forget this ever happened.
So, should I take that as a threat?
No, a promise. Don't make any rash decisions. These relics are now under the control of the Endrum Collective. Leave this place at once.
Ethan, no!
I do not wish to cause any further problems. I will tell headquarters that you helped us in our search today. That should be sufficient.
Thank you. It's appreciated.
He's bowing down to them.
Now take your team and leave here at once.
Asshole.
You son of a...
Why, Karen?
Because otherwise they would have killed us.
She knew they were
What do you
outmatched.
mean? Aren't we all on the same side?
The Endrum Collective isn't just another organization. They have the authority to keep the public peace. And I need to keep us all alive to fight.
Just because he's a cast. Is that supposed to?
All right, that's enough, Ethan.
We're still no better off. We don't know what they're planning to do next. Now that the Doctor's dead, we might never know the entire truth.
Damn. Well, looks like we finally got a big reveal for a villainous entity in this game.
Your tomorrow, let my soul
The dude Scream's main villain. He's on the box art, and he appears here too. I didn't remember him sounding like Batman though. That's a nice touch. Like robot Batman over here. At least his English voice actor. Who knows what his Japanese voice actor sounds like, but...
always with you, even when
Part of me wants to try to imitate his voice, and I know there's no fucking way I can. Like, I don't even know how to begin making that voice. It would just come out with me, it would just come out sounding like Batman. Like a horrible, horrible imitation of Batman instead. There's no way I would sound like Magashi though. I forgot his first name. He said something Magashi, and I only remember Magashi.
And his companions are assigned to protect a train in Peru, and are newly joined by training headmaster Lucane Nave. A dark shadow draws up over the train as it races across the fields. Will Ethan and his companions be able to carry out their duty? Next time on Phantasy Star Universe, Rogues.
The next one's semi-filler. I remember that. None of the chapters are actually filler, but some of them definitely, I remember playing through them, felt like semi-filler. Like alright, there was some main story, but this felt mostly like a side quest kind of thing. But eventually everything ties together in a way where you're like, okay, I guess that was kind of necessary. You know? That's why it's only semi-filler, but not fully filler.
In a faraway galaxy,
Here we go.
lies a sun, orbited by 3 planets. The Goral system. A place inhabited by humans and their creations, castes, Numens, and beasts. For 500 years, there was war among the races, a seemingly never-ending conflict. Then finally, an era of peace and prosperity that has lasted 100 years. But now a darkness has awoken and threatens the universe.
A darkness.
who said we are lost again in this lonely world? I say we can start again. We're on the same ship. It's called Starship Earth.
Damn, I couldn't hold a straight face for that whole thing. At least I memorized the lyrics.
So don't say that it's fake. We must not give
For that first part.
up to build our future on our dreams. We will never lie down and die, but we'll find a way to survive. We all have somebody we love. We know that's why we're here. We battle for freedom. It is a battle against the dark. I have my dreams. You know I'm not afraid of bleeding. It is the time. We battle for tomorrow. It is a battle against time. And we can do miracles. So take my hand. We need to save this world.
Chapter 4. Rogues. Y'all saw the preview.
Ethan, are you all right? You do not seem yourself.
It's nothing. Just thinking about something's all.
It sounds as though we have a guest.
Obviously, what happened didn't sit well with him.
Huh?
The fuck?
What's happening?
Ethan, what is
Oh my god.
Oh, hey, Lumia. This is Pete.
Ethan, who is this girl?
My little sister, Lumia.
My apologies, Miss Lumia. I did not mean to alarm you. It's all right. You're actually kind of cute. Did I scare you, Pete?
Sounds like Pete scared
So,
you.
what are you doing here anyway?
The fuck?
I can't believe you. You forgot? You promised that you'd go shopping with me today.
Ah, I guess I did.
Now hurry up and go get changed. You can't go out dressed like that.
You son of a...
Classic 2000s anime humor. Lumia says, well then, shall we go? Ethan says, can you wait a second? I've got to talk to Pete. Lumia says, what? Are you serious? Hurry the fuck up, fool. Ethan says, sorry. You go ahead first and wait for me at the central table. Okay? Lumia says, alright, fine. But you shouldn't make me wait too long. It's rude. True. Ethan says, okay, okay. His partner machine, Pete, says, do you have plans with your sister today? You two seem to get along well. Ethan says, she is my only sister. But about that stuff I had you investigate. Pete says, yes, I can answer questions about the investigation. Pete always offers like a little recap on what happened in the previous chapter. More like what happened between the previous chapter and the current one, since there's always a bit of a time gap. He says, is there something specific you wanted to know about? About Dr. Warren Darren. Pete says there was nothing current about Dr. Darren in the database. According to records, he perished in the disaster at Melvor 18 years ago. So they faked his death. Ethan says 18 years ago? Melvor? Pete says the Melvor explosion. Ethan says, oh right, I heard that mentioned on the shuttle ride to Perum. Oh yeah, they did. You gotta pay attention to these little things. These little clues they give you. He says the mysterious explosion that wiped out the entire city of Melvor. Is that the one? Pete says, yes, that's the one. At the time, the government of Perum conducted an exhaustive search of the city's remains. But they still could not determine a cause. And today, the cause is still unknown. Ethan says, but the doctor was still alive. And then he thinks to himself, where was he for those 18 years? Which is longer than you've been alive. Pete says, actually, regarding the mission you went on the other day, actually, he pulled that out, there are no longer any public records of that either.
What?
Ethan says,
What the fuck?
Whispers to himself, what's going on here? I wonder, could that Endrim Collective have a hand in this? Yeah, definitely. Why wouldn't they? They definitely covered it all up. And now they've taken the ruins hostage. The relic site. They're not letting anybody in. About A-photon reactors. Ethan says, what are A-photons exactly? Pete says A-photons, or advanced photon energy, is a new form of energy. Created by the crystallization of copolymerized photon particles. I don't think that's how you say it though. It might be... Or maybe it is, copolymerized. It could be copolymerized, or... That probably sounds a little better than what I said. I think I just said copolymerized. Yeah. So it could be copolymerized. Yeah, that sounds much better. Copolymerized photon particles. Whatever the fuck that is. It is said that the crystallized form doesn't occur naturally. Currently, the technology required for pure processing includes a very large-scale operation and a high level of skill. Ethan says, okay, what makes A-photons different from regular photons? Pete says, photon energy utilizes an individual's spirit energy as an intermediary in order to output energy in physical and mental form. Hence why you have technique points that are required for magic. To use photons as magic, basically. The technique points, or magic points, MP, as they would be in other games, always tends to, lore-wise, always tends to represent, numerically represent, that character's spiritual energy. Which is what they use as the fuel for using magic. So that lines up. Pete says, techniques are a good example of this. Thank you. I got ahead of him. In contrast, a photon energy doesn't utilize spirit energy. It works on its own. It merely outputs an extremely high level of energy. Yeah, it does. Okay. This is why, for the past 15 years, we've seen rapid technological advances in large machinery. Oh, it created an industrial revolution of sorts. Such as spaceships that require vast amounts of energy. They're using a-photon reactors. What's more... Ethan pauses. I think he's zoning out. Yeah, he's zoning out. He's not listening anymore. Pete says, Ethan? Ethan says, I'm sorry. My mind was wandering. So basically, what you're saying is... A-photons are a new form of energy made from photons. Is that it? Pete says, yes, that's close enough. When A-photons were found within the relics, it was a major discovery. It means that the most cutting-edge energy technology we have today was used thousands of years ago at the relic sites, and could be potentially dangerous to the level of civilization destroying. Seeing parallels with real life, of course. Because, you know, it's what they always tend to do. It's what I like about story-driven games. They tend to do that. Yeah, I guess in this case, you could say it as a parallel to like nuclear energy, because if it ever becomes unstable and or something goes horrifically wrong at a power plant, a nuclear power plant or something, it could devastate the surrounding area for decades or centuries, depending on how bad it is. And obviously, there's the obvious. They can, you know, the obvious. Blowing up nuclear warheads, and which could end all life on the planet, and yada yada. It's just a general parallel to an energy source that could potentially destroy all of civilization as we know it. So the closest I can find to that, the closest parallel to that I can find in real life would be nuclear energy. Though obviously oil could do the same thing, but in a more slow-going process rather than just everything blows up all at once. I guess it could be a parallel to both, you know. Not too different from Mako Energy and FF7 being a parallel to both. That one's literally, yeah, a parallel to both fossil fuels and nuclear energy, like combined into one. If you look at the way Mako Energy functions in FF7, it's basically a parallel to both of those things in real life. Pete says, in addition, they were much more compact and high-yielding than what we have today. That's why it was so valuable, and Warren Darren didn't want to lose it when he dropped it. Because the A-photon reactors we use now are nowhere near that small. But alas, we lost it. And so, of course, that discovery, like he said, was like sort of world-shattering, and that's why Magashi and the Endrum Collective kept it secret by wiping out all records of the fact that that mission ever occurred. They don't want people to know. But we still know. Pete knows, because Ethan told him, obviously. Ethan says, yeah, but then what happened to the ancient civilization? What do you think, chump? They're not around anymore. Pete says, we don't know. But ever since the seed first fell, relics have been discovered with an increasing frequency. Because the seed seemed to be targeting areas around the relic sites. Pete says, thus, one cannot deny there must be a connection between the seed and relics. Yeah, and I also just made a connection regarding the game's pacing. Every other chapter seems to be semi-filler. Like, the first chapter, where we rescued Lumia, introduced the seed. Very important, obviously. There was world building, character building, all that stuff, right? You know, we got some backstory on Ethan and all that. Second chapter was discovering a relic site as you were working on another mission. It wasn't the main focus yet. It was to rescue that farm or whatever, the kid from the farm, and that was it. But they dropped that subtle hint about the seed landing near relic sites. The next mission, we actually go to that relic site that we had discovered in the previous mission, which is more main story-esque, like what we just did, basically. It introduced what seems to be the main villain of the story, Magashi. And all this other crazy stuff happened that we're recapping right now. So this chapter might, again, just be another semi-filler one, like I, you know, sort of basically predicted during the intermission where it was previewing it, where the game previewed the next episode. He says, thus one cannot deny there must be a connection between the seed and relics. About the Endrum Collective. Pete says the Endrum Collective is a division of the Alliance military. Until recently, their existence was not public knowledge. Ethan says, really? They just recently became public. Pete says, other than their goal of relics preservation, their leader, yes, Endrum Harness, has kept their actions classified. Even with the Guardian's information network. It's extremely difficult to get detailed information on the Endrum Collective. It is said that the Endrum Collective has been in existence for over 30 years. Damn. That's a very specific age. That's definitely going to come into play later. Ethan says, aren't there any definitive answers? And he thinks to himself, I'm still really curious about the doctor's past, but the way Karen was acting, I don't think it'll be easy to find out any more details. Ask again later. Pete says, by the way, Ethan. Yeah? Ethan says, what? Pete says, is it proper to keep Miss Lumia waiting like this? No, she's gonna be pissed. We've been in here forever. Ethan's like, oh! I completely forgot! She's probably gonna be fuming. I gotta go! Pete says, be careful, Ethan. Oh. Just kind of assumed he was gonna go running out of the room, but... I'll have to reference these. Ooh, someday when I start playing Phantasy Star Universe on Clementine. I'll have to reference these to see the order of the free missions. Playa City Linear Line Platform Evacuation, Holta City Flyer Base Burning Plains, and the Mad Beasts. Okay. I think those were already unlocked, right? He's gonna be pissed. Lumia says, you're late, Ethan. I've been waiting for so long.
You suck!
Ethan says, sorry. Lumia says, okay. You can make it up by spending lots of time with me today. I feel like that's not gonna happen. Ethan says, yeah, sure. Well then, where are we going? Ethan says, Lumia says, alright. First off, let's go to the clothes shop on the 3rd floor. Oh, this is where they introduced being able to change your clothing. Which obviously you can do whenever you want online. You have to wait till this chapter to unlock that feature for Ethan. And Ethan can pretty much wear anything that, well, a human would be able to wear, basically. Like if he played online. So, the difference is you obviously won't be able to change his hair color and his hairstyle, of course. But you can change his clothes. This guy says, watch out for the rogues from MoTube. This is the chapter where that happens? No, hold on. He says they're involved in all sorts of bad things. Piracy, underground transactions, smuggling, illegal manufacturing. There are a lot of beasts who make their living by working with the rogues. They might actually... If you encounter rogues, assume you're in trouble and then hope for the best. Okay.
Welcome, welcome. Can I help you? Can I help? Please come again.
Hey there. You want something?
Okay, while he does this, I'm gonna actually grab something real quick.
Thanks.
Greetings. What can I help you with? Oh, thank you.
Hi there. What'll it be?
Telling you, the fan service is everywhere, even with the voice acting. The flirty shopkeeper. Car power? Was that, hold on, are those the units? Oh, okay, yeah. So those are units that you can equip to armors that have slots, just like in PSO. Okay. Okay, so that's a mechanic that they kept for gearing from the last game.
Hi there. What'll it be? Come again.
What a weird restriction. Only a shop from the original manufacturer of a weapon can handle upgrading it. So you literally, that sounds like an excuse to get you to actually travel to other planets just for like tedious things like that. As opposed to just letting you do it all in one spot. That literally sounds like a way to get you to move to other player hubs, essentially. That's what the other towns and planets are. Just for doing something menial like upgrading your fucking weapon, dude. He said that one exception was Kuwabara or something like that, right? He said because no one knows who the manufacturer of those are, so anybody can do those upgrades, but otherwise, yeah, see, this is GRM, so he literally tells you, fuck off. We can't handle upgrading weapons that aren't ours. At the clothing shop or the club? It's a clothing shop. Ethan says it sure looks packed. Look at all these other online PSO players, or PSU players, I should say. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't get in there. Those do look like character models that they just went into the character creator and made to put them here. I remember somebody making a joke about this game and calling it Fashion Star Universe. Because like any other MMO, the end game is always passion. Glamour. If I'm gonna fight monsters and giant demons and demon gods and other world-destroying monsters and enemies like that, I need to look good while doing it. Alright? That's my #1 priority.
Look at this dude.
We all know it's true. We all know it's true. These are parts. The cast parts shop, yeah. This is basically the clothing shop for casts and Casilles. I think at this point they did away with that nomenclature. It's just male cast and female cast now. I don't think they use Casil cast and, you know, Hugh Mar and Hugh Marl or Hugh Neural and Hugh Newman, or sorry, Newman and Neural. Like they took away all that stuff basically. So I think it's literally just human, beast, and then Newman's, male, female basically, and then casts. That's it. They just, you know, denote male, female ahead of time. Because the old demon system kind of only works with, like, it was kind of just there because of the way the name for the class was included. Like Hugh Mar, like that means hunter, male human basically. And they just condense it out to Hugh Mar, you know. So since this is obviously, this game mechanics are different in this one, that's probably why they changed it. You're not stuck to one class depending on the character and race or whatever that you made and all that. Like it's more freeform now. So there was no need for that anymore. So otherwise, every time you see humans, you would just call them what? Mars and Marls? Newmans and Neurals? Cass and Casilles? I guess it's not too bad, but they probably just opted for the simplicity of human, Cass, Newman, and Beast. Ethan says, Lumia, are you almost done? The one question that is always on your mind when you're stuck with somebody who's a shopaholic in the mall. Lumia says, don't have it, do they? They don't have something she wants. Ethan thinks to himself, shopping with you isn't a very interactive experience. Lumia says, oh, Ethan. I wonder if this even happens anymore. I was really thinking about it right now while Ethan was having that thought and I was kind of reading it. And in the back of my mind, I was like, do people actually still go out shopping in this way anymore? This used to actually be kind of a... Because now that we have like Amazon and so many other places that we order like literally everything from, including clothing, do people even go out like this anymore? I think this is definitely... What we're seeing here is definitely like a reference to its own time period of when this game came out. The 90s and the 2000s and even a couple decades before that. Where people would actually just go out shopping and there was always somebody who didn't want to be there. And like, I mean, as kids with your parents, you were like, holy shit, I'm bored. I'd rather go home and play video games or go out with my friends or something, you know? And then as adults or adolescents and teenagers, you know, there was that stereotype you would see in movies and TV shows of the boyfriend with the girlfriend and he's bored out of his mind as she's shopping. And he's basically like what we're seeing between Ethan and Lumia a little bit, where the dude's like bored as hell because it was like a stereotype that women would love to shop for clothing. So they were just constantly looking through everything. And the dudes were always like this, basically. Bruh. You know, that's what we're seeing here. But I'm kind of wondering how much that still happens now because of all the online shopping we have now. I doubt it happens anywhere near as much. Like, if that is still a thing, it's probably very niche at this point. Because now most of us are just doing this. Like, whether we're out in public or not, we're doing this constantly. You know, and if we're at home, again, either with this or with, you know, a PC, laptop, whatever, that's where you do you're shopping now. You just constantly look online. Oh, that looks nice. Let me order that. And just, you know, get it into your door. Whether it's Amazon or someone else. So it's like this, I doubt this happens anywhere near as much anymore. But I don't know. I've been mostly a shut-in for my whole life, so if at any point there was a transition away from that kind of shopping to the online shopping we do now, I of course didn't notice it. I mean, I noticed it because I started buying stuff online, but I didn't notice if people definitely stopped going out to the mall as often. I have no idea. I assume so, though. Anyway, back to the fucking game. Ethan says, have you decided what you want? Lumia says, not yet. There's nothing good here. Let's go to the armor shop. I mean, I guess the armor shop does... The armor does kind of slightly affect your aesthetic. I mean, look, it did make Ethan's little, like, these lines here. They're purple instead of green, like his first armor set. So it does kind of affect your fashion a little. But most of your fashion comes from the clothing shop in this game. Ethan says, what are you doing, Lumia? You already have a line shield, don't you? You want another one? Well, I guess in these times you can't really overdo it when it comes to protection. Yeah, see? The days are coming in real life, folks. We're all gonna have to wearing fucking I still said it wrong and weird and wonky, but we're all gonna have to be wearing a bulletproof vest when we go out in public soon. Well, I would say bulletproof vests in America, shankproof vests anywhere else. So people are gonna have to find ways to make them stylish now, so they can go with the rest of our fashion. Instead of just looking like, walking around looking like Big Smoke at the end of San Andreas. The big, you know, bulletproof vest pad. Or just like the regular vest, which looks very tacky, obviously. Lumia says, geez, brother, will you keep quiet? There's nothing good here either. Let's go to the weapon shop next.
You suck!
Wait, the weapon shop? What the fuck? Yeah, okay, Ethan, thank you. At least Ethan finds this weird too. It's like, you want to get strapped now, Lumia? I guess she heard what I said and she's like, you know what? Armor's not enough, dude. You need a weapon in these trying times too. That's got to be part of your fashion now as well. Your weapon. It's got to go with the outfit. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing, right? You got to make sure your guns and your swords and whatever else you use as a weapon goes with your outfit. Very important. Ethan says, what? I can understand you wanting armor. What the fuck? But what are you gonna do with a weapon? He wants to take her life into her own hands. Lumia says, just hurry up. Maybe she wants to buy a weapon for him. Maybe she's not like the selfish, self-centered sister that Ethan kind of perceives her during these shopping trips to be. During these shopping trips, and then she's actually trying to buy something for him. Lumia says, wow, it's so pretty. That's actually a cool looking saber. Lumia says, hey, this one's cool. She agrees with me, good. Ethan says, hey, Lumia, calm down. Can you even tell a good weapon from a bad one? This also kind of feels like their way of giving you a tour of the Guardians colony and letting you know where all the shops are. Because we kind of didn't go shopping really in this game, like story-wise, until we got to the GRM shop in... I forgot the name of the planet already. Harum. Ethan says, and more importantly, what would you do with a weapon if you bought one? Give it to you. Lumia says, come on, Ethan. Give me a little credit. Ethan says, oh, okay. Lumia says, but nothing here really jumps out and grabs me. Another bust. This dude says, miss, if you aren't satisfied with our current selection of weapons, might I suggest you try one made to your specifications? I sense a tutorial coming. Here comes crafting. Bruh. Instant eye roll from me. Lumia says, what do you mean? This guy says the synthesis shop here in the city recently had their grand opening. You can combine raw materials and items to create new items. Whew, must be the caloric deficit. I should not be this sleepy. Not yet, anyway. Lumia says, wow, really? Thank you for going out of your way to tell me about a different shop. Seriously. That's unheard of. Not really. There's some shop employees who, yeah, they don't give a fuck. They're just like, yeah, you just, you know. You go talk to a McDonald's employee who might be like, yo, go to Burger King down the street. They got those chicken nuggets right now, you know what I'm saying? Those are fucking fire. Mr. says, it's no trouble at all. Just be sure to give this shop another try next time. Lemmy says, well then. Ethan says, He's zoned out. She says, let's get going. Ethan says, where to now? Edit. Lumi says, wow, it's crowded in there. Just like the fucking club we were going to last time. Ethan says, it looks like they just opened or something. Oh, that's what it was. It wasn't a club or the clothing shop. Yeah, because we went to the actual clothing shop earlier. That's the synthesis shop, yeah. That's why those people all look like hunters. Like online player characters, essentially. Guardians, I should say, not hunters. But they all have that. They're all NPCs that are dressed like that because it's a weapon synthesis shop, of course. Ethan says, hey Lumia, why don't you go to check it out while I wait here? Lumia says, what? Ethan says, well, I'm kind of tired. I'm feeling it too, Ethan. I know what you mean. Lumia says, what kind of guardian are you? Alright, fine. I'll go have a look. Don't go anywhere though, okay? Ethan says, I know. I can voice act him pretty well right now since I'm getting really tired and sleepy too. How was it? Ethan says. Lumia says, well, by synthesizing you can make all kinds of cute little items. But to synthesize something, you've got to have a synthesis kit. I mean, they don't just provide that at the shop? What the fuck's the point of the shop then? Ethan says, Lumia says, and kits are really expensive. Oh, I see. It's something the shop sells to you. Yeah. If I bought one of those, I wouldn't be able to get anything else. Ethan says, oh, I know. I'll buy you one of those kits. Lumia says, what? What? Ethan says it's perfect, and I just got compensated for my missions. You got paid. Let's go buy your synthesis kit, and we can be done with shopping for the day. I'm not really in the mood for shopping anymore. I don't think you ever were. Lumia says, no way. What would be the point? Ethan says, what do you mean? Here it comes. Lumia says, well, that's another thing. Even if you get the synthesis kit, you still need to have a partner machine. Like Pete. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I even said it a few streams ago. I was like, your partner machine is involved in crafting. This is it. You buy a synthesis kit from the shop, you take it to Pete, and equip him with it. It's an upgrade for Pete, basically, and then he can synthesize items for you. Ethan says, really? No wonder there were so many Guardian customers in there. I called it, yeah. That's why I said they probably just went into the online character creator and then just made a bunch of generic-looking Guardians characters and put them all as NPCs right there for this story segment. Lumia says, but forget that for now. You said you weren't in the mood for shopping anymore. What's wrong? He's bored. Ethan says, nothing really. I'm just not feeling so hot. Lumia says, it's not just today. You've been like this for a while now. He didn't like how things ended with Magashi and Warren Darren. He says, you've had this sad look on your face. Talk to me, Ethan. Ethan says, the thing is, on one of my recent missions, our client died right in front of me. Jesus, he's about to trauma dump to her. She's gonna be like, holy shit, I couldn't do anything to help him. See? That's the reaction. She's like, wow, thank you for trauma dumping on me about something like that when I'm still so, like, young and innocent. Well, now the innocence part is completely gone. Although she already, you know, heavily hinted at not being so innocent herself. She was shopping for a weapon earlier and then almost went on a date with Hugo, for crying out loud, and mentioned how she's been out on several dates with guys, so she's not that innocent. Ethan says, during that craziness on the linear line when the seed came, I helped out a few other people besides you. And it brought me this, well, joy, I guess you could call it. Yes, Ethan, that's what being a normal human being is like, is you feel happy when you help others. Empathy is a perfectly normal emotion. Thank you for letting us know that you're just a normal functioning human. It felt really great. Yeah, it usually does. It's kind of like, the way he just described it is like this foreign thing. Like he's never helped anyone in his life until that moment when the game started. Like, bruh. The fuck, dude? He says... Ethan says, that's when I felt I understood Father and his involvement with the Guardians a little better. The hell was that? And that's why I decided to join them. Lemmy says, I see. Ethan says, and so then I joined the Guardians. And my first mission brought back that great feeling of helping someone. I felt a little bit like a hero. But during my last mission, I realized that I'm not strong enough yet. Lemmy says, Ethan? Hold on a sec. I'll be right back. I knew this happened. She's gonna buy him the synthesis kit or something now. Ethan says, huh? Hey, Lumia! Where did she run off to? She's gonna be like, look, I got you something so you can make a nicer weapon and hopefully feel a little stronger. Make it feel better. There it is. I remember that being a thing. I was like, she definitely buys him a gift. I know I'm not misremembering this. And there it is. Lemmy says, here you go. A present. Ethan says, hey, what's this? Receive synthesis kit.
Surprise, motherfucker. You son of a bitch.
Lemmy says, I wanted to get you a present celebrating your joining the Guardians. That was the whole shopping trip, was that in secret. Sorry, it's a bit late. Ethan says, Lumia. See? I knew this, yeah, there it is. It seemed like it was just selfish and like this whole little shopping date was just for her, but no. The whole time it was for Ethan. She's a very kind-hearted, warm, considerate sister. She says, so stop being so down and start acting like someone who just got a great present. Ethan says, Lumia. Lumia says, you'll do just fine, Ethan. When I was trapped all alone on the linear line under all that rubble, I was so scared I didn't know what to do. Everything seemed so hopeless. When you came and got me, you really were a hero to me. Ethan says, well, I was desperate. Lumia says, and not just that time. Ever since we were kids, you were always there to help me out of jams. Father died before I was born, so I never knew him. Everyone calls him a hero, though. I believe that someday you'll become an even bigger hero. Bigger than anyone else. You know, you can't help everyone, Ethan, but you can do the best you can. And there's a very important life lesson, folks. Especially for those of you who are also very heroically inclined, like Ethan. Best way of putting it, I think. So those of you who like want to get into like firefighting, paramedic, you know, or maybe you already work as that, you're watching this, that is something that is very important to remember right there. Is you can't help or save everyone. You just can't. And you can't blame yourself for that, you know? Like, you can't put the weight of the world on your shoulders and think that you're responsible for every single person that doesn't make it. Instead, you should look at the bright side and think of all the people you did manage to save. The people whose lives you made better and impacted so profoundly just by being there for them when in their hour of most dire need, I guess I want to say. I know I definitely wish I could have given in-person thanks to the paramedics and doctors and nurses that helped me out when I had a bit of an episode myself of heart arrhythmia, I think it was, which is something that can happen suddenly and just kill you out of nowhere. Like, it's something that's very rarely predictable. It can just happen and you're dead, or you get a stroke or something. So, yeah. I doubt they'll ever watch this, but, you know, thank you for saving my life. I really appreciate it. I really do. And so, yeah, to anybody who's in that position, always remember that you made a difference when you save people. Don't focus on the people you lost or that you weren't able to save. Focus on the good you are doing, the people you are saving, the smiles you're putting on their faces and their loved ones. They don't have to go through the grieving process and having to do a funeral and all that other incredibly sad shit that happens when you lose a loved one. You made a difference. Be proud of yourself for that. I'm not used to giving little speeches like that, and this kind of just came out of nowhere, so I feel really awkward right now. But I hope it, you know, the sentiment goes through, because I do mean it. You have to remember, you can't help everyone, but you can do the best you can. Thank you, Lumia.
Son of a bitch.
She says, and if you feel like you aren't strong enough now, then what's stopping you from becoming stronger? Use this synthesis kit and make some strong equipment. Get good, scrub. She's like, come on, get some good gear, noob. Then you'll be able to save more people. Ethan, for the third or fourth time in a row, just says, again, Lumia, thank you so much. I'll do my best. She cheered him up. Lumia says, good. I'm so proud of you, Ethan. Ethan says, oh, stop it. You're making me blush. Yeah, I got that feeling a little bit too. Just, I had a moment there. I got a little real and personal with that shit. I mean, I meant it though. So, I didn't mean to get that sentimental about it when I said all that stuff just now, but yeah, I meant it. Lumia says, I'm gonna head home now. Ethan says, alright, Lumia. I mean, Lord knows it does take a lot of guts to do that. Paramedic or firefighter. And anything else, like any kind of rescue worker. That's definitely, I feel, an underappreciated job, so I felt like I had to get that out there. Especially since my life was personally impacted by them, you know, my incident that I talked about. But it's definitely, like, I guess what I just wanted to add to that was that it's something I wish I could do, but I know I can't. I'm not, like, I don't think I have what it takes to be under that kind of pressure. It would break me, psychologically. You know? It's the pressure of that, plus the fucked up shit you see as a paramedic or a firefighter. When you see how people, the kind of injuries people can get or the way people can die. I can't imagine finding human remains is ever pleasant, but there's different ways to die that can be way uglier than others, and I feel like it would just, yeah, that shit would fuck me up. Trauma, you know? Which is, again, why I emphasize to those of you who do that, thank you very much. Literally, from the bottom of my heart, seriously, like, takes a lot of cojones to do that shit, man. The trauma and the fucked up shit you see. The trauma from the fucked up shit you see and everything else. Aside from what we just talked about not being able to save everyone. Anyway, Lumia says, tell Pete I said hello. Ethan pauses. And then watches it leave. And that's it. This whole segment has just been on rails. It's just been mashing text. We kind of ran around a little bit. We had to find the shops, but that was actually very you know, most of it was just text, just pushing X or A if you're on Xbox. Pete says, "Welcome back, Ethan." Like, it felt on rails. Not a bad thing, just an observation I made. Ethan says, "Thanks, Pete." I guess it was mostly for character development for Lumia and Ethan's relationship, basically. Ethan continues, "Oh hey, do you know how to use this? Here comes a tutorial." Pete says, "Ah, a synthesis kit. First off, plug it into my expansion slot." Alright, Pete, slow down. Pete says, "Setup complete." He got an expansion. He's been upgraded. It took me forever to find that. If you have a synthesis board and the necessary materials, you can synthesize an item at any time. There it is.
Son of a bitch.
Synthesis unlocked. Pete's expansion ability. By inserting the synthesis board and utilizing materials from storage, new items can be synthesized. He got a patch, man. He got an expansion patch. Got 10 new level ups, a whole new MSQ to go through. Oh wait, those are MMO expansions, my bad. Board insertion. In order to synthesize items, it's necessary to first insert the board into your partner machine. I wonder if you have to buy this when you play online or if your partner machine just has it already. Because if so, I wonder how much it costs. There are various different kinds of boards. Depending on the board type, a variety of weapons, armor, and items can be synthesized. Synthesis boards can be purchased at the synthesis shop in every city. My tongue is getting tied up from saying that over and over. Synthesis, I mean. Let's just call it crafting boards in crafting shops. For sure, right? Item synthesis. I'm gonna get tripped up on this. Select the... It's already happening. Select the synthesis board and an item from that board will be synthesized. The required number and type of materials will be displayed before synthesis can begin. Place the necessary materials into the storage system. However, boards have success rates, so synthesis failure is also a possibility. It's partially why I hate crafting systems so much. It is not the main reason, by the way, but it is a very close second. The main reason I hate them is just because I hate them. I just don't like the idea of having to collect, well, I guess, you know, the more expanded actual primary reason, instead of just saying I hate them for the sake of hating them, is I hate the idea of having to hunt down rare materials with that drop with like a rare RNG chance. You know, that in and of itself is just feels like such a chore that makes me lose all motivation to want to play the game. That is not a replay value type of thing for me. For me, okay, this is just me. I know other people like this stuff, but for me, I'm just like, I immediately just deflate. Like, I'm gonna go do something else. Like, I don't want to do that shit. Just sell me the weapon or let me find it in on a fixed rate somehow, you know? Yeah, like in PSO, the weapon can just drop and you get it. And there's ways to increase the drop rate, you know, raising the difficulty, yada yada. Anyway, so yeah, the first thing I hate about crafting is that, having to hunt down the materials. The second thing I hate is when there is a failure rate. When you go through the trouble of finding the materials and then it can still fail and you lose the fucking materials. That just pisses, like, that just makes it feel like it was all a gigantic waste of time. Like, no. No thank you. I don't want anything to do with a system like that. Just like with upgrading weapons, when the game has a system for upgrading weapons where it can cause a weapon to break if it fails. Something else that I'm just like, no thank you. Go fuck yourself. At least with FF14, only the materia breaks, and that's only if you overmeld anyway, which is only necessary if you're doing hardcore content, thank god. Partner machine development. You can upgrade your partner machine by giving it items to help develop its item synthesis abilities. Also, we can get more expansions for that in particular. As its abilities are developed, the success rate for the synthesis of certain item types will increase. Depending on the items given, the type of item specialty will change. The shape of your partner machine will also change based on the items given. So this is, yeah, Mags 2.0 basically. It's just like how when you feed your mag a certain way, and with the certain characters, we found that later. certain character and class type or whatever. In PSO, it changes the mag's shape. They take on a different form. So the partner machines are the same thing. They basically are 2.0 mags. The next generation of mags, but they're just used for crafting. I'm curious to see a gallery maybe of like all the different types of partner machines in this game though. I don't know what they can look like. Pete says, inside the synthesis kit, there is a practice board and materials. Receive Trimate synthesis board. Next, here are the required materials for Trimate synthesis. Receive sweet berry and ether acid. It is necessary to place the materials into the storage system. Don't forget, you can't just craft using materials in your pocket. Okay, so now he's either going to make one by practice or something, or there's going to be a more hands-on tutorial. Let's see. Synthesize an item, insert board, Trimate, B rank. HP recovery item board, sweet berry and other acid and materials. Which board do you want to insert? You can insert up to 32 board types. New synthesis board inserted. Give the item. Where are they? Whence lean? You can only give items one at a time. Do you want to give this item? Catalyst used in the synthesis of various weapons and armor to bind photons to metal. Oh, this is just feeding him. This isn't actually for crafting. He says this doesn't taste very fresh. Oh, he's a picky eater. Strike, range, tech, armor. Pete. So Pete's stats are for what kind of weapons and armor he'll specialize in. His model number GHX005. Striking +2, range +2, technique +2. So you first want to feed him to raise his stats so that he's more able... He has a higher aptitude for making those types of items, the stats you raise, basically. The items that correlate to the stats you're raising when you feed him. The unnecessarily overly complex crafting system of this game. Huge turnoff for me. Alright, well, before the story continues, because obviously it's going to continue at this point, I'm stopping here. We already went overtime a little bit because I wanted to finish the whole... everything that was happening with Lumia, all those conversations, and then I went off on a tangent, and then Pete gave us the tutorial on the synthesis, so things kind of went... I went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but that's totally fine, because we just made more progress. But I gotta stop here, because I gotta get ready for bed. So, as always, thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate the support across Twitch and YouTube, wherever you decide to watch. Thank you. And, I'll do this as usual for my outro. But yeah, thank you all very much. And, I'll just turn it down a little while I do this. As always, please do take care of yourselves, stay safe, don't die. And until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. And I'll see you all next time on Starship Earth. You heard it here first, folks.
You son of a bitch.